Okay, guys, so today I'm going to talk about why I soft quit Discord. Okay, so I didn't hard quit it or deactivate my account. I didn't deactivate my account, but I kind of stopped using it excessively. And it's not because, like, I'm looking for better, things to do with my time or anything, which that's always a positive thing, right? To get away from Discord, using it a lot. I have quit Discord. Some of my very old friends know this. I think this is my third account that I have. My third account that I have is, and like I said, I haven't deactivated it, but I have stopped using Discord a lot, and I'm going to try to move towards not using it really at all. Um, I might check every once in a while on the people that I know. But yeah, so here's the thing, right? And this is going to be a what I think video. This is going to be about shitty websites and shitty data collection, all right? And I have a father in computer science. He's a computer scientist, and we discuss this a lot. So here's the problem. So I don't like no text to speech, the channel. I think he's kind of I think it's kind of like, why do you do Discord videos for an entire channel? But I watched one of his videos, and it was about how Discord is planning to use AI facial recognition to essentially, how they're planning to use AI facial recognition to verify users' ages. Right? Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, and it doesn't even apply to me. So the rule is that if you're under 13, right, this would be a solid way, in their opinion, a solid way in order to be able to verify how old you are. Now, this is already conceptually a very bad idea, but that's not what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about how it's going to fail. What I'm worried about is who is getting what I'm worried about is future consequences of this, right? So again, this doesn't affect me, but I have a problem when they say they're not going to sell your face, but they absolutely are going to sell your face. We know that the big tech corporations, what they do is they sell people's every single thing that you have, every single piece of personal information. They sell to advertisers, and obviously Discord selling your face is going to be nothing different. They're going to sell it for data collection, and they're going to use it to train AI in facial recognition, which is very dystopian, right? So, and I especially have a problem because this is used on minors, right? This is minors using facial recognition and advertisers being able to sell it. And I personally do not like the idea of minors getting their companies getting minors' personal information from their faces. It's just not something you could say. Oh, well, it provides some safety, like it verifies their age, or it ensures their safety in some way, right? But I just don't agree. I think it is a terrible and immoral idea, right? But so far, that's one of my reasons. I haven't really explained how this is going to affect me or really the larger population of Discord that's more adults, that aren't 13 to 17, but are more adults. And, well, 13 to 17 people that don't have any age verification problems. Like, their accounts haven't closed because of concerns of their age, right? So the rest of us, basically, which is that I think that this is the beginning, and this isn't just Discord, but I think this is the beginning of mass data collection and password login using facial recognition, right? And IDs using facial recognition. Like, if you were to access NSFW channels, you'll now mandatorily have to give Discord your ID. And that sounds like a common sense, like we shouldn't have minors, saying, "Oh, I'm 18 years old," and then getting access to NSFW on Discord. Like, that's a terrible thing. Minors should not be looking at NSFW on Discord. But I also think that it's a terrible idea, and there might not be a solution. You might be saying, "Well, what's your solution?" Well, it's definitely not. I'm definitely not also in favor of giving Discord my ID in order to access NSFW subreddits. I don't, or I'm sorry, not subreddits, Discords. I don't really go on NSFW Discord. I used to, but I don't really go. I don't have any servers that I'm on that's NSFW. So, um, right. So like they'll use it for ID verification, they'll use it for age verification, but they'll also use it for logins, right? And here's what I think is going to happen. And this is going to be with majority of websites. So how many, you know, I'm going to ask you, the viewer who's watching, how big of a pain in the ass is using a traditional password, right? So a lot of sites will require it to be complex passwords, and then they'll, require you to do authentication, like two-factor authentication by using your phone or giving your phone number, which is also dystopian. I don't want to give any fucking company my phone number, right? But they'll use like multi-step verification processes in order to log in. And you know as well as I do is, although that sounds like a great idea and it probably does improve security to a point, it's a big pain in the ass. And honestly, I'd rather just not even have two-factor authentication. I know this just sounds stupid, but on some websites, I'd rather be fucking hacked. I know that sounds fucking stupid as fuck, but I honestly am so tired of wasting 20 every single time I have to do two-factor authentication. Those minutes add up to hours and add up to days of me having to verify my my identification to log into my account, and it's just a giant pain in the ass, right? And I'm sure hackers will have their ways around it. Like they'll just attack where you store your password and log in that way, or they'll do some shit, right? So anyways, what I think is going to happen is logging in with traditional passwords are going to become harder and harder, or they're going to incentivize using facial recognition via AI to log in, right? And they're going to incentivize it as the cool and easy way to do so. And this is Discord. This, I believe, is really the first. There's already facial recognition passwords out there, but this is the first company that I use that I really think is heading towards going in this direction. Fuck, they might even implement it if one of them watches my video. Because they, who knows. They'll probably just say, oh, that's a terrific idea. Why don't we do it? So anyways, that right there is what I'm worried about. Is they're not going to remove traditional passwords, right? Because they would get tremendous backlash for privacy invasion. But what they're going to do is they're going to offer an optional AI facial recognition login, and they're going to make it so hard for anybody to use a traditional password, or they're going to make it so easy to make an AI facial recognition facial recognition login that people will basically be using it, and Discord will be able to collect data off of it, and so will other advertisers, right? And this is going to be, other companies are going to do this pretty soon. I absolutely guarantee you they are going to use AI, and eventually it will become the traditional password, right? So that's what they're going to do, right? And because it's optional, they're not going to face as much backlash. They're not going to be called out for it, because them, making traditional passwords impossible, well, they still offered the option to, so it doesn't seem like a big deal. It's optional, and nobody's really going to realize that that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make you use facial recognition software, so it's just another piece of data that you're giving Discord, right? And other platforms are going to start doing this. And what's even more fucked up is that they know they can do this. Now, let me explain. Right, so I used to play a game called Evany, right? And Evany is such a fucking ripoff. First of all, the ads are nothing like the game, right? But there are a couple ways that they make mass amounts of money. One is that they add new updates to a Kingdom game, right? And Kingdom games, as you know, to get the best stuff requires mass amounts of money. And they just keep adding and adding and adding new stuff so that players, those few players, spend more and more money to be the best. That's the first thing. But what is the second thing that both Discord and Evany would use? And we'll get to Discord, how this applies to Discord. Chats. They realize that if you can form relationships with people online, that you'll be hooked to the game just because of those relationships, and you'll be more likely to spend money. And by neglecting the game, right? By neglecting the game, not watching advertisements, not, paying, not your psychology not wanting to pay for things, because, if you play the game a lot, psychology-wise, you're more likely to spend money. You have a huge withdrawal of never being able to chat with those other people again, right? And there are ways around this. For example, you could ask the people on the game to get another chat where you all talk, right? So, like, I don't know, use a decentralized code platform like Matrix or use Telegram. That's another thing that I hate, by the way. Every single fucking, like, privacy messenger app becomes known as, like, a pedo hub, right? So, like, it used to be Kick Messenger, and then all the degenerates joined that, and now it's a pedo thing. Telegram, which, was fine, now it's considered, a pedophile thing. So if anybody uses it, because of a few degenerates, they're classified as a pedophile. And now it's going to be the next app and the next app and the next app, and every single app that comes out that has privacy on it, they're just going to deem it as some sort of pedophile or drug app. And I hate that. I hate the thinking behind that, the logic behind that. So anyways, it is that, the withdrawal of other humans, right? And this is in a texting way. This is on a virtual way, but it's still a very powerful connection to have. And they can exploit that for money. And that is exactly what will enable Discord to do whatever data collection on whoever they want, right? I was thinking about, maybe it's not right for me to quit Discord soft quit Discord, because I have a lot of friends on there and it's just not worth the sacrifice. But then I was thinking, that's exactly what Discord wants me to think. Discord wants me to say, facial recognition software is now a thing, and it's really the only way to log in. But if I don't use Discord, then I won't be able to chat any of my friends ever again. And again, there's ways around it, like you can add them on other messaging apps, but I mean, come on, that's a huge pain in the ass. Like, let's be honest, and not everybody is willing to go through that transition with you. So Discord knows that they can exploit this psychological feature in order to continue piping out data collection and gathering all your personal information to sell to companies that won't advertise your data, but they actually will advertise your data, and they will get away with it because that's what the tech industry does, right? And other sites are going to start doing this. And as soon as they do, I'm going to log off of them. And I think the most concerning thing about this, when you think of a traditional password, do you think of anything wrong with it? No, and I know there's some flaws to this argument, but just listen to it, right? There are a couple flaws to this argument, like traditional password doesn't really mean anything in terms of data. But the idea is that the younger generations, if all of these companies switched to more privacy invasive ways, and this isn't true, this isn't going to be unanimously true. If all these companies switch to privacy invasive ways, right? And let's say you're a child, you're 7 or 8 years old, or you're 6 years old, and you get introduced to technology, and it's 2020, 2033, and all these sites implement it. You're less likely to think that there's something wrong with it because you grew up with it, right? So in the sense that this is basically your traditional password. This is what you grew up with. And this isn't going to be entirely true, because if we didn't have opposition, then we would never progress as a society, or we would never change anything about society, the way society works, right? So there will be some new generation people, young people that grow older and say this is absolutely ridiculous and we need to change this actual like privacy invading ways, these privacy invasion type ways, right? There's going to be opposition. Otherwise, humanity would have never progressed in the beginning. But for the majority of these future generations, it's just going to be a password. It's going to be like giving, your 8-character password. Every company uses facial recognition. It's just the cool AI tech way, right? People are using this cool AI tech culture, this positive chat GPT culture, and they're going to implement it into their their um, their systems, and people are going to think, whoa, that's cool, chat GPT facial authentication, and nobody's going to see any problem with it because there's such an AI modern tech culture that we like. So, or most people are going to have no problem with it. So anyways, that's why I quit Discord, and that's why what I think is one of the biggest concerns when it comes to privacy is going to be this problem. Thank you.